Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our revered speaker for today, Her Grace, Srimati Radha Govinda Devi, and to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. We are very much grateful. We have Her Grace with us today. Hey, Mother Radha Govinda Devi, when I saw your image appeared to be, there is one popular photo of Mirabai on YouTube, and she's painted just like the way you appear. And so when I saw you, I said, did Mirabai manifest here physically? Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. So you may take it over from here. We're very much appreciative to have your association. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, my dear brother Sahadev Prabhu, and Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. I also see our group of Vaishnavi Sangha group, and I also see my African family of devotees. So thank you so much for joining today, and I will start with invocation mantras. Praying to Mirabai and other great devotees, Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, to empower me to speak words that inspire myself and others so we can align to Krishna's will. May whatever we discuss today be pleasing to Lord Guru and Gauranga. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukha karoti vachalam pangoram gayate girim yatkripa tamaham mande Shri Guru dinataranam paramananda madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Nitinamine Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaurakata Damadaya Nagara Grama Tarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai. So today we're studying Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, text 3. Will you be doing the screen share of the verses, or can I go ahead?
You can go ahead. We see it. We can see it. So it's okay.
Okay, perfect. So we have 3 verses today. Shambaram dividam banam muram balvalamevacha anyamscha dantavakradin avadhitkamscha ghatayat. Translation: of kings like Shambara, Dvivida, Bana, Mura, Balvala, and many other demons such as Dantavakra, some he killed himself and some he caused to be killed by others. Sri Baladev. This is Uddhava speaking these verses, and he's talking about Krishna's plans to kill the demons. (3.3.12) Atate bhratraputranam pakshayo patitan nripan chachala bhu kurukshetram yesham apatatam balai. Translation: Then, O Vidura, the Lord caused all the kings, both the enemies and those on the side of your fighting nephews, to be killed in the battle of Kurukshetra. All those kings were so great and strong that the earth seemed to shake as they traversed the warfield. 3:13. Sakarna dushasana saubalanam kumantrapakena hata shriyayusham suyodhanam sanucharan shayanam bhagnorumuvyam nanananda pashyan. Anybody would like to recite this verse? Because this is the verse with the purport. Sahadev Prabhu, would you like to?
Okay, I'll try. Shakalna dushadashan shobalanam kumantra pakina hata shriyayusham shiyodanam sanucharam shayanam bhagnorum uvyam nananda pashyam.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any Vaishnavis? Would you like to lead us?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, Nitikishore.
Sakarna dushasana saubhalanam kumantra pakena hata shriyayusam suyodhanam sanucharam shayanam bhognorum urvayam na nandana pashyan.
One more? Anybody?
Hare Krishna. I want to try. Sakanam dasanam sanam subalanam kumantra pakina hatasya yusham Shyodanam Kanucharam Sayanam Bhagnorum Ruyamna Nanda Pasyam.
Thank you. Translation. Duryodhana was bereft of his fortune and duration of life because of the intricacy of ill advice given by Karna, Dushasana, and Saubala. When he lay on the ground with his followers, his thighs broken, although he was powerful, the Lord was not happy to see the scene. Can we have a volunteer to read the purport?
All right, I'll volunteer. Our purport. The fall of Duryodhana, the leading son of Dhritarashtra, was not pleasing to the Lord. Although he, Krishna, was on the side of Arjuna, and it was he, Krishna, who advised Bhima how to break the thighs of Duryodhana while the fight was going on. The Lord is constrained to award punishment upon the wrongdoer, but he is not happy to award such punishments because the 11 entities are originally his parts and parcels. He is harder than the thunderbolt for the wrongdoer and softer than the rose for the faithful. The wrongdoer is misled by bad associates and by ill advice, which is against the established principles of the Lord's order, and thus he becomes subject to punishment. The surest path to happiness is to live by the principles laid down by the Lord and not disobey his established laws, which are enacted in the Vedas and the Puranas for the forgetful 11 entities. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Jai. So here we are focusing on different sections of these verses. In the first verse, for instance, we will be a little bit touching on Dantavakra, how Krishna killed Dantavakra, and also how Dvivida was killed by Balram, and let me just share the highlights of these verses, okay? So stay with me. This is going to be a talk which will churn a little bit of inner Mahabharata. Inside all of us is the Kurukshetra, which are these verses talking about. So the Kurukshetra within us is going to be churned in this talk today. So let us pray to Balaram and Krishna to destroy those anarthas in our heart, which are represented by these demons. All right. So the verse number 11, the third canto, third chapter, verse 11, it speaks about divine justice. So what does it mean? It means that this verse is talking about how the Lord is actively engaging in the divine orchestration of different events, such as Dvivida being killed, such as different demons being killed. And why he does that? Because he wants to establish righteousness. And he sometimes does it directly, and sometimes he does it indirectly by empowering others to do it. And then he also always, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, he's always again and again trying to establish dharma and remove adharma. So he's always trying to establish righteousness and remove anything that gets in the way of righteousness. So that's like the theme of this verse. So we will interweave these verses and go into the discussion today. And the verse number 12 is speaking about the weight of consequences and choices. So even powerful people like Duryodhana, and due to poor association, poor decisions, he had such a bad fall, because of all the Karna and Shakuni, his uncle, and Dushasana, his brother, Subala, all these evil-minded people, he got ill advised, and this highlights that the importance of having right association, right wisdom, listening from right people. So that's the second theme that we're going to interweave into this talk today. And the third is this verse of, oh, sorry, it's not 14, it's 13. It's a mistake in my presentation. So it's 13, verse number 13 speaks about Krishna's compassion. Just look how compassionate Krishna is, even in this situation where the most evil Duryodhana is being, at the moment of being destroyed, Krishna is very compassionate. He's not happy, Uddhava is saying. Uddhava knows Krishna very well, by the way. He even looks like Krishna. The only difference between Uddhava and Krishna is that Uddhava is constantly glorifying Krishna. That's the only difference. So Uddhava knows the mood of the Lord, and he's saying that even amidst evident destruction, he's empathic even towards Duryodhana, who was so evil-minded, and he hurt the very dear Pandavas. So the point is that the unhappiness of the Lord at witnessing the suffering of the living entities who are diseased with this bhava roga, the material disease, all our addictions, it's highlighting the importance that just even if the Lord has so much empathy, how much empathy, in fact, how much empathy our acharyas have. That's the very fact. We are even studying Srimad Bhagavatam because of the mercy of Prabhupada. Without that, how can we even get access to the Shastra? So the point is this, that even at the face of justice is being served here. We'll talk a little bit about Duryodhana's all kinds of craziness shortly, but even that very vicious person being punished, Krishna is not saying, ha ha, finally, look at this guy, he deserved it. No, because Mamaivamsho Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So we are all parts and parcels of Krishna, regardless of how much we are rotting in our anarthas and our weaknesses, how much we are suffering from all these material diseases of anger, lust, and greed. No matter all these dirt and all this kind of extra baggage that we're carrying, still Krishna is our father. Tande ni tande na bande na ninna hinde. Kamadali ni tande, krodadali ni tande, tamasa duryoniyali ni tande. This is a verse by one of our acharyas who says that whether we are drowning and rotting in lust, Kamadali nee tande, still you are my eternal father who cares for me. Krodadali nee tande, regardless of how angry we become, we cause wars in the world, we are like we are doing right now as humanity, causing wars, killing innocent people, still Krishna is compassionate towards us. Because sometime, for some of us, maybe we have this kind of Christian idea that there's eternal hell. Once we do wrong, then we are cast into that eternal hell. But the Vaishnava philosophy, the philosophy of Srimad Bhagavatam, is talking, this verse of 3.3.13 is talking about the Lord's compassionate heart. This is very, very important basic Vaishnava philosophy for all of us to embrace and imbibe. That sometimes we become harsh on ourselves, but we need to always remember this. Krishna is always compassionate, even in his punishment, even in him giving judgment to us. So we should never think that we have a right to be hard on ourselves or other people in our life. So that is the introduction. So let's little bit see how Shukadeva Goswami describes this pastime. When Dantavaktra, he was very, very angry because he wanted vengeance. He was a friend of Shishupala, Shalva, Paundraka, all these great demons who had appeared and got killed by Krishna. So this demon, Dantavakra, was very, very eager to he was very powerful and he was very eager to fight Krishna, and he thought that he could defeat Krishna. So he approaches Krishna, and Krishna immediately picks up his club. As you can see here in the picture, Krishna has his club up. So he takes it, he confronts Dantavakra. Dantavakra is like challenging him, his Kshatriya spirit, and he's saying, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to avenge my friends. And despite all this powerful, when Dantavakra would put a step on the earth would shake. That's the verse also Uddhava is talking about. All these demons, that the earth would tremble. That kind of personalities. And what Krishna did, it just very, very steadfast, very calm. Like he is right with our difficulties. We're all struggling and Krishna is there, peaceful, not looking like not doing anything about our challenges. But he was very, very peacefully, he just took his club, and then he struck Dantavakra on his chest, and immediately Dantavakra was fatally wounded. And then from after the death of Dantavakra, there was a spark emanating from Dantavakra's body. And that spirit of Dantavakra came out and entered Krishna's body. So this again is like similar to Shishupala, who Krishna had earlier killed as well. So these pastimes, again, they indicate those very anarthas in our hearts too. So we'll go a little bit, we won't have time to get into everything. For those of you who'd like to follow, I'll be making these videos. We have meetings of Anartha Nivriti. You're welcome to join, where we will be going into what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, what each demon represents, what are the anarthas. And sometimes, as the verse number 12 says, sometimes he sends others, empowers others to kill. Like in this case, Dvivida gorilla, the gorilla story. I don't know how many of you know it, but in short, there was a demon called Narakasura. So Narakasura was killed by Krishna, and he saved all the girls that Narakasura had kidnapped. And Narakasura had a best friend, and the best friend was Vivida, this gorilla here. And he was an ape, and he was a very evil ape, very, very narcissistic, very, very evil, a tyrant, a psychopath, like that. So he wanted to avenge also the death of his friend. So what did he do? He went and set fires to all the homes, and he destroyed the cows, and he devastated the province where it was all these ashrams were there, all the rishis were there, all the sages would be doing yagyas, and this demon will go and pass urine and stool, and he will ruin the sacrificial arena, and he would go and pollute many girls in the village. And basically he was a nonsense. So he came up on the Raivataka mountain, where Balaram happened to be there. So when he comes there, and Balaram is already drinking his Varuni, and he is in his ecstasy. So when Balaram is with his gopi girlfriends, Dvivida becomes very, very obnoxious, and he starts insulting and makes all very, very crude gestures. And then he starts, basically the story is that he shows his backside to the girls there, and Balaram becomes very infuriated. First, he throws a stone at him. And then Dvivida Gorilla escapes that stone, and then he started ridiculing Baladev, and then he started pulling the dress of all the women. And then Baladev he had enough of his audacity. So then he took up to kill. He decided that I will kill this Dvivida. He took up his club. He pulled this plow weapon. And then he was very powerful. This Dvivida was very, very powerful. So then Dvivida pulled up this big, huge tree. As you can see here behind, they have thrown many, many big trees behind. So he uprooted another tree, another tree, another tree. So like that, he was destroying all these trees to try to attack Balaram. And then finally, Balaram, he struck on the head of Dvivida Gorilla. And immediately, Balaram could destroy all the trees that this Dvivida Gorilla was throwing at him like a child would throw away the sticks. And then Dvivida started throwing all these big when And then he thought that he can defeat Balaram. And immediately Balaram said, okay, I think I'm done playing enough. And as soon as when Dvivida was going at Balaram, he just took his fist and he pounded on the fist of this Dvivida. And then Dvivida became very infuriated. And then he just, Balaram didn't even need his plow, nor did he need his gada. Just with his fist, Dvivida was immediately destroyed. And then Dvivida was coughing blood, and he just fell dead, vomiting blood. So the point is, if we have problems in our life, it's because of our character defects that we have problems. And Balaram, he always comes to rescue us by defeating. Maybe it is our false ego. Maybe it is our pride. There are different demons that Krishna and Balaram kill that they help us to uproot. So let's go a little bit into, okay. So let's go a little bit into the Mahabharata within us and see how, let me just share with you that document of Bhaktivinoda Thakur just very quickly to see these anarthas, a little glimpse of what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says each are. And I came up with like principles to help in this class today, just to remember how we can counteract those anarthas, what to pray, etc. So this is a reference found in Sri Chaitanya Shikshamrita, where Krishna killing different demons in his Vrindavan pastimes represents the anarthas. And in Sanskrit, it's called anarthas. In English, it is unwanted things, or we can also say character defects. That, for example, Putana, the demoness Putana, is the pseudo guru. And what's the principle behind killing Putana? That we should learn to seek right guidance and discern true spiritual authority, and not go after fake magic and quick fixes and all that kind of things. And then the Shakatasura demon, he was the cart demon. He took a form of a cart. And what does that represent? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, carrying the burden of a cartload of old and new bad habits, lethargy, and vanity. Oh boy, that'll take a lifetime just to work on that. And what's the principle? What we pray to Krishna? Krishna, please help me to let go of my past burdens and cultivate a disciplined life free from lethargy so I can be of service to you. Okay, so like that, I won't be going into each one, but some of these things are so intrinsically connected to our upbringing, our cultural impact of cultural exposure, on our desires, unfulfilled desires. And like, for example, Trinavarta demon, it's, if you have seen that little Krishna movie, I unfortunately, I can't share it, because if I share it, then YouTube won't let us upload this video, because we have shared from a YouTube video. But there's this Trinavarta video of little Krishna. I recommend that you watch it. So there's this Trinavarta. He's so overconfident. He comes and takes Krishna. And he's super proud, because he feels like I have mystic powers. I have strong everything. I know everything. So he's going up and up and up and up and up and up and up in the clouds. And the little baby Krishna at one point going up. He looks at Trinavarta and says, ride over. I love that scene when the baby Krishna looks at Trinavarta and says, ride over. So for Krishna, oh, we are feeling proud. Keep going. keep going. And at one point, he looks at us on our high pedestal, thinking we know everything, we know how to sort our problems, we are in our own addictive thought patterns. And then he says, right over, are you done doing with your proud things? So Krishna kind of humbles us. He never fails to humble us. Krishna always humbles us. So the principle is, whatever Krishna consciousness we have, whatever association we have, we approach it with humility. And we seek the truth beyond mere intellectualism. So it's not about how many verses we know or how much Bhagavad Gita we study or how much we wear Indian clothes or how much we put nice tilak. It's not about those externals that, oh, I know, or even, oh, I do fasting every Ekadashi, I do full Nirjal fasting. That can become a source of pride. So very, very profound insights Bhaktivinoda Thakur shares, that even in our spiritual journey, sometimes we can get caught up in pride. I know this, I have this position, I am getting followers, I am whatever it is. For each of us, it can be, for some of us, maybe it's money. For some of us, it may be connections. For some of us, it may be followers. So different kinds of pride can manifest. So like that, there are many, many anarthas, many demons that Krishna killed, and each represents anartha. And if you are interested, we have our group of Vaishnavis. We all prepare based on anarthas. We give classes on this. We have some of the videos on our YouTube channel. If you like to go and subscribe, then you may get more profound study about different anarthas. So maybe I can type in the chat box or maybe somebody like Nitya Kishori Mataji or Rukmini Priya Mataji can type the channel. So devotees, if you like to listen from our Vaishnavis who do a research, we also come together and work on these anarthas. It takes time to recognize what anartha is actually bothering me. Like see here, Pralambasura is the lusty inclinations and desire for personal gain and honor. Oh, who doesn't have that? What is the principle? The principle is pray to Krishna to subdue lustful desires and to seek selfless service at the lotus feet of the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada said that when we worship the deities, then our lusty desires will be controlled. So there are remedies to fight these anarthas. So that's the Mahabharat within us. Okay. All right. So next we go to the part where Duryodhana in the verse number 13. Let me just go back to the presentation. Yeah. So in the verse number 13, there's a description, right? There's a description of Krishna being very kind, very gentle, or like compassionate, empathic, looking at Duryodhana suffering and struggling. So we would have to little bit take a step back, go a few steps behind to see what led Duryodhana to have such a fate. So we would need to kind of look at these characters that Duryodhana was taking advice from. One is Karna. Prabhupada speaks about that, Karna in other purports like that. But Karna was like loyal, but in a codependent manner. Okay, in the modern psychology context, we would say Duryodhana is a narcissist, and Karna was like his, we call like, they are called flying monkeys. So Karna would be somebody who's like loyal, but not for good reasons. So here we see a picture of Karna being crowned by Duryodhana, because Karna was raised by a Shudra family. So he didn't have any power or position, but he was so eager for that power and position that he would be willing to sacrifice his dignity and integrity. So Duryodhana became that leader for Karna, who would give him that crown and take his dignity and integrity. So what we see is, on the other side here, we see Dushasan, such a rascal. He's trying to disrobe Draupadi, whereas in all his attempts are just in vain, because Krishna comes in time and rescues Draupadi. So similarly, we see that in the whole Mahabharata, we see that Pandavas, they characterize noble deeds. They were very auspicious people. They were very kind. They had very good Vaishnava qualities. And that contrasted Kauravas, the Duryodhana and his army, very sharp contrast between their characters. One was totally atheistic. Duryodhana was totally atheistic, deceitful in all his activities, beginning from childhood. In fact, this uncle of his, the Shakuni, he made him get trained under a very, very vicious person, how to trap people, how to use dharma against people who do dharma. So Kauravas had that nature. Naturally, they had that evil mentality, and then they got trained further into it. And then Duryodhana was always envious of the Pandavas. So again, weaving into our verses today, Duryodhana really represents those maybe the disease, because Duryodhana was not a very secure individual. His sense of self was very weak. His spiritual sense of identity was non-existent. So he constantly depended on Karna and Dushasana and Dhritarashtra and Bhishma and Drona to make him feel confident, strong, because he always felt weak. On the other hand, Pandavas, they had the shelter of Krishna, and their bhakti was itself so strong. So Duryodhana was very, very insecure. So through his insecurity, he demonstrated that disease. No, when somebody is very, very sick and they're coughing nonsense, no, like when somebody is very sick, you don't go near them because they contaminate you. They may give you the virus and the sickness. So similarly, Duryodhana was like that. And he manipulated Dhritarashtra, who was his father, severely, because Dhritarashtra said, Pandavas are such nice people, why don't you get along with them? They're so righteous. They will not take away your kingdom. They'll give you your share. But Duryodhana was like, no, I don't want my share. I want everything. So that is his, the previous thing I had this. He had it's called a narcissistic obsession with unlimited, he wanted unlimited freedom. That was his obsession. He wanted more and more and more and more. So he never liked the idea of sharing the kingdom. So what happens within our kingdoms? We all have a kingdom within us. And our sense of identity and dignity will depend on, let me just turn this off and then I come back to it. So our sense of identity and dignity, the more we connect our identity as Krishner Nitya Das, that I'm an eternal servant of Krishna, the more safe we are, because we feel more secure. We believe in Krishna's plans. And the more we are like Duryodhana, that we are unlimitedly planning and strategizing how to make our life possible the way we want. Now, one of the instances where when Duryodhana does that, he tells Dhritarashtra that, no, we have to send these Pandavas away. We have to send them on into the forest. Can't give them this forbidden, not forbidden, unwanted, inhabitable piece of land, and let them go there. And Dhritarashtra was very hesitant to do it. But somehow or another, Duryodhana said, if you don't do it, I will die, I will kill myself, and these Pandavas will never let us be happy. You have to do this, and don't listen to Vidura. Vidura is always taking Pandava's side, and so he was always suspicious. He was always doubtful, right? So we can see that the downfall that we're seeing in this verse is not just Duryodhana falling there and then getting his leg broken and he's lying down there. There are many, many series of psychological, faith-based mentality that led him to that kind of a helpless situation. And Krishna gave chance after chance after chance after chance to Duryodhana again and again and again. So the point is, this desire that Duryodhana had for that unlimited freedom is very dangerous. Let me see if anybody of you have any questions or comments. You can go ahead. I can always kind of, how do you say, put it together into the class. So let's go back a little bit to the purport, where Prabhupada is talking about Sakarana Dushasana. So Karna and Dushasana, along with Karna and Dushasana, Duryodhana's situation is although this point here, right? Even in the recovery, like we call it, there's this 12 steps of recovery. This is for people who are addicted. So say to alcohol, or even Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about the bottle, the liquid bottle. He says Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so talking about addiction. The idea is that in this principle of recovery, we call it that the Lord always has a hand behind. The Lord always has a hand behind. So here it says, the fall of Duryodhana, the leading son of Dhritarashtra, was not pleasing to the Lord. And this is the key here. Although he was on the side of Arjuna, and it was he who advised Bhima how to break the thighs of Duryodhana while the fight was going on. Oh my God, that's like a very confusing statement, right? If we go to the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the first chapter of the 7th canto is talking about how Krishna is impartial. Krishna is not partial. And then there's all these examples that we can take of, wait a minute. He taught Bhima how to kill Duryodhana. How is he not impartial? He protected the Pandavas. How is he not impartial? He protected Arjuna from the Karna's attack. How is he not impartial? So the whole 7th canto, first chapter is about Lord's impartiality. And then we get into Hiranyakashipu and all that in that canto. But the point is, he told him to do it, but still he's not happy. So how does these two contradictory statements work? So it is, then Prabhupada says, the Lord is constrained to award punishment upon the wrongdoer, but he's not happy to award such punishments because the living entity are originally his parts and parcels. Actually, one of my favorite verses of Bhagavad Gita is that verse, Mamai Vamsho Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. It means, Krishna, I'm yours. It says everything. Krishna, I'm yours. And you're mine. So Mamayvamsho Jivaloke, we belong to Krishna. But then we run around trying to find belonging with, like in Duryodhana's case, he's running around trying to find his belonging with wealth. He's trying to run around finding his belonging with power and position and with envy, like that. And the actual problem is the self-will. And through that self-will, we find it harder and harder to experience Krishna consciousness. And then Prabhupada says, Krishna is harder than the thunderbolt for the wrongdoer and softer than the rose for the faithful. So if we translate this statement into a relevant, in a relevant context of individually for me, I'll say me, okay? So you can relate to any of us. I don't want to say you, because you may be above all these things. And so the idea is, at least for somebody like me, when I have certain attachment, something I'm very egoistically attached to, and I think that this is good for me, I want this, and no, like I still remember last class, Sahadev Prabhu was saying, I go to Krishna and say, hey, you are all powerful. I have this desire. If it's not good for me, my desire, make it good for me because you are the Supreme Lord. I'll never forget that. That was so powerful. Powerful way to describe the mentality, the human mind. I was like, that's so true. That's exactly what my mind does sometimes. So the point is that for those parts of me, for those anarthas of mine, those unwanted character defects of mine, Krishna has his way, the thunderbolt for the character defect. He wants to break that. Why? Because that my core desire is to reach him. My core desire is I want to love him unconditionally, fully. But it's what is getting in my way? What's getting in my way is not my boss, is not my wife, is not my husband, is not my children, is not the society. What is getting in my way is this Duryodhana mentality. And sometimes Krishna has to break our thigh, so to speak. Maybe there's just as a personal example, there were times where I had a lot of this attachment to having a lot of followers, having people who appreciate me, etc. And then there was a time when I had to go on an exile. And that time, Krishna was breaking the thigh of something that's not going to serve my purpose. Having the followers does not bring me closer to Krishna. Having a knowledge, like another obsession I used to have is learn all the verses. No, I learned the whole Vishnu Sahasranam verses. I want to learn all the chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So there was a phase in my life where one of those anarthas that we read, what was that? Let me go back to that list of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. speculative, Brahma Vimohana pastime is one of them, where we are attached to that. No, I want to learn more all these verses and I want to study this like that. And there was another one, Nalakuvara and Manigriva. That is futility of material prestige, and we should cultivate humility, because otherwise we'll become puffed up. Oh, I know these things, etc. Sometimes even spiritual knowledge can become spiritual knowledge in the materialistic mentality can become an obstacle. We can do spiritual activities externally, but my mentality can be material. So I will not get spiritual results unless and until I have a spiritual mentality. And what's a spiritual mentality? Krishna, I'm your servant. I belong to you. That is the spiritual mentality. Okay. Then Prabhupada is saying, okay, I hope this point is as touching to you as it has been for me. We can all like self-reflect on this concept, look at our own kingdoms in our life, inside our hearts, and see who is leading it. Is Arjuna leading? Is Duryodhana leading? Arjuna didn't care whether he's going to win the war or lose the war. He wanted Krishna with him. He wanted to be held by Krishna's guidance. Whereas Duryodhana didn't care who Krishna is. He wanted the kingdom. He wanted the army of Krishna because he thought he can win. So the Prabhupada continues, the wrongdoer is misled by bad associates and by ill advice. And for us, what is it? Social media. Social media. That's our bar. That is our party or whatever. We may not physically go, but we are constantly associating with these reels or whatnot online. So that becomes ill advice. People valuing body over consciousness. People valuing wealth over morality. People valuing wealth over honor and dignity. All these things are ill advised. And then we become disturbed and anarthas take over. And then within our kingdom, there's virus spreading. And then we feel stuck. And then we have to pray. So the point is, here, where is that? Yeah. So the surest path to happiness is to live by the principles laid down by the Lord and not to disobey his established laws. So the best way is to see these difficulties that Pandavas went through. They went through so many atrocities, and yet they were able to see Krishna's hand in it. So that's the only way that we can also come out of this web of character defects. Yeah, I'll pause here, and then I have more points, but I'd really like to kind of open this for questions, comments, and any thoughts that came to you. These are very, very interesting verses. Yes, I see Govinda Prabhu's hand up.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Govinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my respectful obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to the Assembly devotees. Mata, thank you very much for this wonderful presentation as always. I know your class always attracts a lot of questions because you give so many points, and all these points are very, valid, and has a lot of nutrition in it that if we can absorb it, it can make us grow very well. And so in order to absorb it, we need to understand very well so we can do it, appropriately. So Mataji, the first question I would like to ask you is this. I'll ask two questions. The first question is that of Sisupa. Krishna allow Sisupa to insult him for 100 times. I would like to know, just to make my question very short, very brief, why Krishna allow him to give that 100 times insult? Why he did not kill him, when as soon as, he started insulting him, why he did not kill him, but rather to allow him to insult for that 100 times. And the second question is that of same insult, that a devotee, if a devotee is insulted or blasphemed or offended, and if that devotee can't let it go without any reiteration to the opposite party, that help that individual devotee to actually progress in his spiritual life by tolerating such an insult. But the other side of it is that a person who is insulting is entangling himself more and more and more. And the example is that of Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish tolerated Durvasa, but the end result was that Krishna himself have to come in and release his Sudarshan chakra, and Ambarish was, Durvasa Muni was in trouble. And so, and also there's an example given in the Bible that Jesus Christ was advising his people that if someone insults you, just allow him to do it 77 times, 7 times. Means you should not reply at all. Just let it go. But once we let it go without saying anything, then we are not giving love also to that person externally. That is what it means. I'm not going to respond to you. I don't have strength to fight you, but I have a master who can beat you for me. So I'm just going to keep quiet. And once a devotee keep quiet like that, then Krishna himself step in. And if Krishna step in, then there's a disaster. So I would like to understand these 2 points. Why do we have to tolerate and to allow Krishna to step in? Because we know if Krishna step in, the other party is in trouble. And why Shishupal was allowed to give Krishna insult for 100 times.
Hare Krishna. Shri Govinda Prabhu, thank you so much. Shrimati Radha Govinda Devi, thank you. I don't know, I believe you'll be able to answer it all, but Govinda Prabhu's question reminds me of Shukadev Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit. There is a point in time where Maharaj Parikshit asked like 45 questions. And I was wondering, how is Shukadev going to answer all these questions? But Shukadev did. Unfortunately, we are not like Shukadev, so I don't know. But you may try to answer his questions.
Thank you, Sahadev Prabhu. Yes, when Govinda Prabhu says, when he asks these questions, yes, it always kind of opens my mind also, different perspectives, right? Again, we are limited by the time. We don't have 7 days and 7 nights like Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. We have only 7 minutes. So we are going to try to go into what we can what we can understand in essence. Okay, first question. Let me repeat the question so that it's clear. So your first question is, how could Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, let Shishupal insult him? Why would he do that? So what's the background? What's the history? What's the philosophy? So yeah, that's like an easier question than your second question. So the first question is that according to Srila Prabhupada, this answer can be given in different levels or different perspectives. First perspective is the historical perspective. The historical perspective is that Krishna had given a word to the mother of Shishupala that she will forgive 100 offenses of the son. Okay, so it's a simple thing. Krishna is well, I can't really say this out loud because I'm more on the side of Radharani. I can't really say Krishna is a person of his word when it comes to Vraja Leela, but when it comes to this level of philosophical history, as him as a Supreme Personality of Godhead killing demons aspect, Krishna demonstrates that what's the Yogakshemam Vahamyaham? He gives us what we need and he preserves what we have. So he promises that I will take care. When he promises to the mother of Shishupal, who was also, he was related, right? So he promises that I will forgive 100 because she knew the son was a nonsense. So he kept to that word. So that's a very historical perspective. Then from Srila Prabhupada's purports, what we see is that Krishna demonstrates his divine qualities. Nobody has ability. He's called Karuna Sagara Govinda. He's known as, he's an ocean of mercy who can forgive the sins of his devotees. Bettadanta papavannu hottiruve nanu, ada suttu bidu purandara vithalayya neenu. So I am a person who, if I have a capacity to carry mountain load of sin, Krishna has the capacity to destroy that mountain of sin with just one holy name. That's Krishna. So Prabhupada emphasizes that Krishna's tolerance is an example of his divinity. He is, he is all powerful, all beautiful, all strong. Whatever I'm missing here, I'm coming to the point of he is all detached as well. He doesn't say, oh, how could Shishupala insult me? This is very bad, I feel bad about it. He doesn't feel bad about anything. He remains undisturbed. He's Atma Ramascha Munayo, Nirgrantapya Urukrame. So Krishna is always self-satisfied and he's not disturbed by any external circumstances, not by the modes of nature, not by the devatas, not by anything. So not by insults. He can become Partha Sarathi, means he can become a chariot driver for Arjuna, which is like, even human beings will like, oh, my dignity, or my status. But Krishna is like, I don't care. He's detached. He doesn't mind. So being Supreme Lord, he doesn't mind being a chariot driver. So Prabhupada emphasizes that Krishna shows that he's truly the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he knows how to be composed. He doesn't react to the anger of these demons, just plays around a little bit, etc. So, and then there is another angle to this question, that fulfillment of prophecy. In other words, the scriptures state that Shishupala, because these are all not ordinary demons, okay? These are all, they have curses, they were cursed, and the only way for Shishupala to get liberated is by insulting Krishna. Only then he will get liberated. Otherwise, he won't. So his offenses and his insults were part of Krishna's plan. I want to put like a little insert the thing here, especially for our Vaishnavis group, because we discuss this regularly. Our anarthas, our weaknesses, our inability, our vulnerabilities, our struggles are part of Krishna's plans. So because he wants to make us humble, he wants to make us tolerant. Okay, close the thing, getting back to this question. So by tolerating insults by people like Shishupala and other demons, Krishna is setting a stage for liberating even these souls, right? First of all, these are special souls. Secondly, it is his honor or his like privilege, his pleasure. He's like, come on, if you're a fighter, if you have a fight, or if you are in a chess game, or you're doing some game, you like a good game. You don't want to play with a lousy player. If you're playing tennis, somebody is there losing all the time. What fun is there to play with this kind of people? So for Krishna to hear insults and everything, is like, come on, yes, the score is 79. Come on, keep it going. 98. You got 2 more to go. Game over. Come on. So Krishna is, Dhira Lalita means he has he has 4 types of personality when he expands. Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but the point is he has that. He plays all those personalities. No Dhiro Datta, he means he's very strict, very strong. He punishes the worthless people. But then he's also Dhira Lalita. He plays around and he's like calculating, yeah, when can I end this game? And then he's Dhira Prashanta. He does not get affected by any of the insults or anything. He doesn't get affected. He doesn't get disturbed. He's Dhira Prashanta. He's always peaceful. Prashanta means peaceful. And he's also Dhirodhata. So he's the one who liberates the living entities from our circumstances. So this question is very relevant even to our weaknesses. Sometimes they say, I want to wake up in the morning. I want to chant good rounds. I want to study Bhagavatam. I want to be a good devotee. But why these anarthas are like on my way? Because that's also Krishna's plan, a part of Krishna's plan to see if we are going to be Arjuna or Duryodhana. Are we going to surrender and say, Krishna, I can't. You can. I give myself to you. These are the steps in the 12 steps. Krishna, first is Krishna, I am powerless over the bottle of alcohol for an alcoholic. And for somebody else, I'm powerless over my pride, or I'm powerless over my messing up relationships, whatever it is. I'm powerless over my overthinking, my vasanas, my addictions. I don't want to eat the second plate of prasadam, but I go for it anyway, again and again, something like that. We have our examples, right? So the point is, this is another point Prabhupada makes, okay? And then the third thing, without which we cannot finish this thing, Krishna also tests his devotees. He tests these demons also. Even Jaya and Vijaya, when they were cursed, Krishna said, finally, I have been not fighting a good fight. I've not been having, we can't fight with Krishna easily. Krishna doesn't make demons like that. These are very qualified people. So these qualified people come as demons. So Krishna can also have his Leela. So that is his part of his pastimes, where he tests his devotees. All the interactions that he has are part of his extended pastimes. By witnessing these leelas of Krishna and the devotees, we as conditioned spirit souls, we get purified. And we also learn the importance of forgiveness, of compassion, even in the face of hostility, which brings us to your second question. Again, I'm trying to give as brief answers as possible. We can, Prabhuji, Govinda Prabhu, your question is worth a whole class. It's a whole class of examples of, I'm thinking of Mahabharata examples, Ramayana examples to answer. But it brings us to the second question. In times of hostility, let me see if our Raja Mataji is here. I don't know. Okay, anyway. Yes, Raja Manjari. I don't know if that is Raja Manjari Mataji. Is that you, Manjari? Yes. Hey, Haribol. So, yes. So Manjari and I were having a discussion exactly about this point, that how do we deal with insults coming from the outside world when somebody is attacking us? One side, it is like we're supposed to be tolerant devotees and patient and take the curse. But then on another side, Krishna is telling Arjuna, hey, don't be a weak, the weakness of heart. Don't be weak at heart. Pick up your bow and arrow and fight this fight. Have a good fight. So where do we draw the line? How do we understand? So this also will have 3 levels of answer. First level of answer is that there are 2 aspects to how we handle a situation. One is external, one is internal. So the external situations are, okay, somebody is insulting me. And then the second situation is, what am I thinking about myself? What is happening in my inner kingdom between my relation with Krishna? What's my internal dialogue with Krishna? So we have to look at both of this. Internally, we need to keep our side of the road clean, which means we are forgiving, we are tolerant, we are patient, we take this as Krishna's plan to purify us, and we don't do the Duryodhana thing, we don't curse, we don't act insecure, we don't jump around pulling our hair out and rolling on the ground. We try to be as sober as possible internally, seeing it as Krishna's plan. Externally, however, will depend very much on your varna. What are you? Are you a Brahmana? Are you a Kshatriya? Are you a Vaishya? Are you a Shudra? I know somebody who is very Kshatriya by nature. And when they see socially things going wrong, they want to write about it. They want to fight about it. And that brings a lot of enemies. But I also know that this person has a very good spiritual identity inside. So they're keeping their side of the road clean internally. So externally, they're gaining the strength to keep fighting. So we need to understand our real strengths. Like Arjuna, Krishna was helping Arjuna to understand his capacity, his limitations. So we shouldn't take up insults or whatever, like, oh, I go and give my peace of mind to this person. We may have the perfect dialogue to say or the argument to say, but maybe the other person is more powerful on a material level and we may be defeated. So we don't go and fight a case that we are not sure we can win, right? And that doesn't mean that Krishna may be with us. No, let's take Arjuna as an example. Arjuna is such a noble warrior. He would have never wanted to kill Karna the way he killed him. If for those of you who know the story, it's a pity the way the Karna had to be killed. But the truth is, Krishna had a plan to humble Arjuna even in that situation. So sometimes we may have a plan, but Krishna has another plan. And in Krishna's plan, everything is included. No, victory may not come the way we want. The real victory is victory over the inside, internal victory. Externally, whether we be exiled to the forest like the Pandavas were, or they stay in and become the kings and rule the entire world, that's a detail. And we must fight, but the king in the kingdom needs to be sane before we get into a fight. If I want to fight and I have all my army is all weak and tired and sleepy, which means I don't get up, I don't chant, I don't read Bhagavatam, I don't go to classes, which means my army is weak. How am I going to win the war? So a war, we are talking about war here, Mahabharata within, Kurukshetra inside our heart, which means we need strong army. A strong army means overcoming lethargy, doing spiritual practices, being disciplined. And the other aspect, the last part of the answer would be, we need to learn to mind our own business. Sometimes we cannot fight all the battles. We need to choose our battles wisely and see, is this the real battle? Is this really my business? Is this my kingdom? Because many times I see people are fighting for somebody else's kingdom, or they don't have their own kingdom. So they're looking at other people's kingdom and, oh, this is happening. Oh, social media, that they got married, they got divorced, or this earthquake happened here, or tsunami happened, or COVID conspiracy theory, some election thing. That's not your kingdom. That's not your kingdom. It's nothing to do with you and your spiritual advancement. So we need to really be clear. Okay, should I fight? Should I not fight? No, we need to go over the basics first. What foundation are we fighting? What is the status of our army? And then what is our intention? Like I said earlier, Krishna, the whole point of Krishna and the killing of the demons, all that, and the way he liberates those demons, it all arrives at the conclusion of intention and action. Like Putana had the intention to kill Krishna, but her action was to feed him her milk. So the action is very noble, but the intention was very wrong. So we need to look at our action and our intention, and it should align to the principles of Srila Prabhupada, to the Bhagavad Gita, and only then we can answer the question of whether to fight this battle or not.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Very elaborate, detailed answer to Govinda Prabhu's profound question. And we have Dr. Hassan's hand up. Mother, you are in India, so we're going to try to say how we do not keep you longer than necessary, but we'll try to keep you here as long as we possibly can, because there are lots of questions we would like to have them answered. Dr. Hassan, please.
Yeah, before Dr. Hassan,
okay.
Please.
Go ahead.
Mother, thank you very much for your response. And one may still be wonder, Krishna, like you just explained, Krishna tolerated Sisupa with all this insult to bring out the divinity in him. Him means Krishna. But eventually he killed him. So one may ask, but he tolerated for 99 times, but he killed him anyway. So what about that? Means we have to tolerate, and at a point we need to react. Is that what Krishna is telling us?
Thank God he killed him. Because it wasn't good for him. So the point is, we cannot compare Krishna's actions with ours. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his qualities and our qualities are, ours is perverted reflection. So we cannot imitate Krishna. I cannot say, hey, Krishna told Arjuna to kill people, I'll also kill all my enemies. Yeah, well, the law may not be on your side. So we need to discriminate what we are talking about, what is the context. I don't know, does that answer your question?
I think his question was like,
Yeah.
Krishna could
Yeah.
have, Krishna
Yeah,
could
Krishna could have spared him. Just
Oh,
like
oh.
when someone, tried to insult you, and then you say, okay, all right, no problem. You just, let it go. But if I allow him to insult and insult and insult, and at a point I react, even though I tolerated, but eventually I still, have to do justice. I've done justice to him after all the tolerance. So Krishna could have let him go. So one may ask, why did he still kill him?
Because it's his mercy. It's his mercy. Because, for example, when Lord Shiva killed Daksha, he cut off the head of Daksha, right? It's mercy. It's the way when sometimes we lose something we valued very much. It's mercy of the Lord because we were too attached to it and it was not going to help us. And when Lord Shiva cut off the head of Daksha, Shiva also had the power to do a brain transplant and put a goat's head on him. Unfortunately, we don't have that power. So when Krishna killed Shishupala, he has the power to, everybody saw it. Everybody in the assembly saw that the spirit of Shishupala entered Krishna's body. So again, it would go back to, oh, these people are, but do we have the power? Krishna had it. Krishna has the power to tolerate and Krishna has the power to liberate. And let me ask we have some of our team of Radha Shakti speakers. We have here Taruni Radha Mataji, Rukmini Priya, Nitya Kishori. These are all devotees who give classes. So I'm wondering if any of you have any other insights. I see Sujata Radhika Mataji, I see Veena Mataji, Preeti Mataji. They all also study the scriptures, and I'm wondering if they might have any other explanation based on their research about why did Shishupala anyway kill him. I think, as I remember, Taruni Radha had given a class on this topic. Taruni Radha, do you have anything to share?
I think your answer was like brilliant, actually. Perfect on the topic. And just like mind blowing, your answers is like, wow, really amazing the way you're able to integrate and get. That's the only thing, whatever you said is the same thing that I would just like to reinforce, that Krishna to give mercy to these souls would have just been integrated over and over again.
But Tarini, if you may check your audio because your voice became distant. We couldn't hear you.
Hear me now, Prabhuji? Hare
No,
Krishna?
yeah, now it's better.
Yeah, better now.
Okay. So what I was trying to say is like Radha Govinda Mataji's answer is like excellent, to the point. It's fantastic. So the only thing, what I would like to say is exactly what she just said, that it's a way for Krishna to give his mercy to this soul of Shishupal. Otherwise, these souls who are very demoniac in nature, they keep on. He says, right, I'll keep casting them in the yonis of demons, so they'll never get a chance to be liberated. But then this is a way when they've received a curse in their previous lives by some great sages, then they get a chance to meet Krishna, but yet their demonic nature doesn't allow them to surrender to Krishna or to love him. At that point, Krishna shows his mercy by killing them. So they get a chance to again, come and be united with him in his kingdom.
Yeah, perfect.
Well,
Thank you.
she was breaking up a little bit, but I think she was also affirming what Mother Radha Govinda was saying. It was Krishna's mercy on Shishupal. But Govinda Prabhu's question, and as you answered, actually when he was asking, he also made a reference to Lord Jesus Christ in the Bible, where Lord Jesus Christ was asked, if someone offends us, how often should we forgive? And like Jesus Christ said, 77 times, 7 times. So it seems so long that definitely there will come a point in time that an action has to be taken. That point I may not know, depending on a particular situation, but I think the lesson here is we have to tolerate, hoping that the person will change. And if the change does not come, then in order to help the person to change, there may be an action. This is just my thought.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
that was the second part of my question, but that part answers did not come. But
Okay.
I also thought
I
maybe
have
I'm taking the platform, so let me just step out for other devotees to
I
come
have
in.
one reference. This is a reference by a Vaishnava saint. He says, Nindakarirabeko, irabeku nindakarirabeko. And this is such an amazing bhajan. And he says that this 77 times, the concept, in that 77 times, when I'm insulted, if I'm the one being insulted, it is also a mercy for me, because the time that I'm tolerating, I'm not tolerating hoping for the other person who's insulting me to change. I'm actually changing. And this, every time the insult is coming upon me, I am being purified. And my lust is being controlled. My pride is going away. My anarthas are washing away. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that when somebody is insulting a person, they are taking away all our bad qualities. If somebody is praising us, actually they are taking away our good qualities. If somebody is insulting us repeatedly, they're taking all the, like if they are judging us and they are criticizing us, they're taking away our bad qualities. So they say in this bhajan, it says that, oh, this person is insulting me. It should be there. This kind of people should be in my life. This is my true well-wisher. Because I'm now thinking, like, when both of you shared about, there's a time, right? There's a time when we shouldn't tolerate anymore. When is the time when we are ready? We never know the number, right? 77. It is not like a qualitative number. It's a quantitative number. And what does that mean? It means that my heart has been transformed. It's like the gold has been purified enough. Shodhisida chinnakke samanada Vaishnavara. So Vaishnavas are considered like purified gold. Not like the jewelry gold, but the gold which is like the rock gold. It is very, very pure. And why it is pure? Because it went through so much fire. It took so much fire. So a Vaishnava, when he is put through difficulty, he will emit fragrance. He will emit golden aura. So the point of it is that tolerance is not just for the offender. The tolerance is also going to qualify me as a Vaishnava. And then we become like, I'm sorry, I'm not saying we, okay, Vishnu. Narada Muni is an example. He's our guru, he's our acharya in our line of Sampradaya. When he curses, it's mercy. When I curse, it's not mercy. It's our anger, it's revenge, it's resentment. But when Narad Muni curses, it's mercy. Right? So the point is, tolerance means it qualifies me to be able to bless someone, even if it looks like justice and punishment and something. So that waiting period is a part of me being purified to be the, how do you say Shodhisi the chinna in English? There's a word like purified gold, right? Like yeah. So to become, and Shivram Maharaj actually, when the commentary to Rupa Goswami, he says about, I don't know, Rupa Goswami or one of the Goswamis, he says that when the Vaishnava is put into difficulty, then it's like, take a piece of sandalwood and you're rubbing it against a stone. So a Vaishnava will only give sandalwood paste through that. But if I am put through difficulty, all my anger will come out, all my resentment will come out. So we should tolerate so that the sandalwood can come out. Then whether we curse, we bless, we hit, we beat, it is a blessing.
Hmm.
So that is a one side of me. Someone insulting me, and within myself, I'm thinking this is for my purification. Give me more and more and more, so I become purified. And the Vaishnava is supposed to be selfless. So the other party is in trouble. What should I be the state of my mind when someone is insulting? In order for that party not to be punished or become contaminated for his actions. Because if I just thinking about myself, I become purified, then the other party is, is entangling himself. So what should be the state of my mind when someone is acting towards me negatively like that?
Well, again, I cannot answer to you, but what I would tell myself would be, Sri Radha Govinda Dasi, kindly mind your own business. Krishna knows when to teach who what and correct other people. I am powerless over this person's bad behavior. I have no power to change this person. But I can pray for this person. That's what I would do. Like I mentioned earlier, it would depend on your power. If you're a judge, you're not just going to sit and pray. You're going to give your verdict. If you're a lawyer, you're not just going to sit and pray and say, oh, why this person did so many crimes. You're going to fight and make the person go to jail, right? And so it depends on your circle of concern and circle of influence. So if my circle of concern is, oh, my child doesn't do this, doesn't do that, doesn't do this, is my circle of concern, fine. But what's my circle of influence? How much power do I actually have in order to make him do A, B, and C? Most of the times, none, none. Or husband, or temple president, or anybody, even disciples. Gurus tell me that disciples don't listen to me. So it would depend on our power of circle of concern and circle of influence.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Bhakta Hassan
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hassan, thank you so much for your patience. Please, you may.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Mother. Please kindly accept my humble respectful obeisances. All glory to Gurudev, all glory to Srila Prabhupada, and all glory to you. Thank you very much for the wonderful class. I have a question, and forgive me if it sounds a little bit childish, but I need clarification. It's about Krishna. There's different pictures of Krishna. One who is blackish and the blue color. And I know the story about the Krishna Lila when he was born in Mathura, sent to Vrindavan, when Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj raised him, and he went back to Mathura to his mother Devaki and Vasudev. And Krishna, who is in blackish color, how did he come to be? Who was his parents? Because I have no idea, or I haven't heard anything about how this Lila was. So, because sometimes I hear that this blackish Krishna was fighting with a demon or something, and he was consumed some negative energy and become blackish. But one of my senior devotees explained to me that that is not true. That was how Krishna is. So I want you to explain to me when did this Lila happen? This happened before the Vrindavan and Mathura, or it happens after, and who were the parents? This is my first question. I have two questions. If I can continue with the second question.
No, first question first, please.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, when we speak about Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Krishna is eternal. Okay, so everything, when we think about chronology, this happened first, that happened first, that is according to us. For Krishna, time is eternal. Krishna is time. Time I am. Kalosmi, Krishna says, right? So all these things, according to Srila Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami, is that many of these interpretations and the leelas and the pastimes are not necessarily in chronology wise. Oh, this happened, therefore Krishna is like. Krishna is. And from him comes Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Shirodakshay Vishnu, and then he creates the Sankarshanas and all the expansions come from him, right? So the color symbolism, from what I understand from my philosophical, whatever I remember, first of all, Rupa Goswami, it's little esoteric again when we talk about Krishna's form, etc. We have to go a little. There is like the whole depth of Gaudiya Vaishnava literature. Krishna's color is connected to that love and sweetness of the Madhurya, his hue, the color that he has, the cloudish complexion. It reflects his relationship with his gopis. So this color is also very much about the Rasa Leela, the colors. And it's also something about Jagannath also. Jagannath is also black. Because when he becomes so emotionally absorbed in the Madhurya Leela, he becomes absorbed in that loving, conjugal love Leelas, his interactions, he becomes very emotional, that's spiritual. So that's the color which is represented in him. And then is also the color of the cloud's color, right? Krishna's color is likened to a rain cloud, which is also significant because he is the protector, he is the provider, and he like in the Govardhan Leela pastime, we hear more and more about how the rain nourishes us, it nurtures us, it gives food to earth. And so similarly, Krishna is also nourishing us. He's nourishing our everything. He's giving us food, he's giving us everything, shelter, he's giving us protection, he's giving us love. So it's like the cloud, the color of the cloud is like he is the nurturer, he's a caretaker, he's a nourisher who sustains all beings. So that's his original color. And then Bhagavad Gita, I am not 100% sure if this is Rupa Goswami, but somewhere I read that the Krishna is beyond material modes of Sattva Guna, Rajas Guna, and Tamas Guna. So his appearance is not limited to the physical attributes, right? Because he is his divine essence. So when we say black, bluish, blackish, what is our perception, it is not exactly according to our eyes. Krishna can manifest based on how a devotee desires to see him, whatever the complexion, the colors. In fact, Krishna takes different shades of skin color in every incarnation. He takes Shweta Varaha, he becomes white color Varaha Dev, Dor incarnation. He becomes red color Varaha. And then, in Narsingha also, there are variations of him when he takes forms, so on and so forth. So this is my understanding. Again, I don't know if it exactly answers your question, but again, I ask our Radha Shakti Sangha speakers, if anybody has any reference to this, please, you're welcome to share your research.
Mother Tarini Radha shares something very interesting in the chat room. She says, concerning Krishna killing the demons, she says, added advantage of Krishna killing any demonic personality is that they go back to Godhead. Whereas when any Vishnu incarnation kills, they just get a chance to get further purified on their spiritual journey. So Krishna killing is extremely special. Special mercy to that soul. It's such causeless mercy on those souls. And actually we read this, I think in the text 11, where Uddhava is telling Vidura that some of the demons Krishna killed himself, and others, he let others killed. And Mother Radha Govinda also said this in her delivery, that sometimes Krishna kills the demons themselves, and other demons he let others kill. So the demons that get killed by the lotus hands of Krishna are very, very special souls that Krishna has special pastimes with them. So,
Yeah,
it's a
beautiful.
so thank you so much, Tarini Radha, for sharing this with us. It's very beautiful. Well,
sometimes,
yeah.
we may think that, becoming a very, very powerful demon, one can easily go back to God because Krishna will come and kill me. And that would be very instant than to remain as a devotee for many lifetimes. But hey, we got to understand you can become a very powerful demon, but Krishna may not kill you.
Well, I used to feel like that. That why don't I become a demon and get killed by Krishna? And then I'm not sure whether it's I think it's His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj who said, well, it's not all demons that get killed by Krishna. If you want to be killed by Krishna, you have to become very, very powerful demon. And I don't know, become very, very powerful demon. And thinking about Giriraj Swami Maharaj, I'm sorry, Mother Radha Govinda. I just want to chip this in since we are all here as Vaishnavi devotees. Our beloved Guru, mentor, uncle, His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, we learned he's not doing very well health-wise, physically. And so we humbly urge all the devotees to pray to their lordships. I personally, I'm going to speak from my own angle. I prefer praying to Srila Prabhupada much more than Krishna, because Krishna is too playful sometimes. But Srila Prabhupada is Patita Pavana. But whomever we so choose to pray to, please let us all pray to Shri Krishna, Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, Vaishnav community, whoever, to help lighten up Maharaj's physical challenges so that he can be with us much longer in a much healthier way. So this is our humble request that we all pray for Maharaj's speedy recovery. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Does anyone have anything else to share or to say before we call it a day today?
Yeah, I need to go to Mangalarti tomorrow.
Yes. Yes, we see that. So, Mother Radha Govinda, we cannot thank you enough. And dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, Her Grace Radha Govinda Devi Jai. Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Ram,
Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Agressi Radha Govinda Devi ki
Adibu.
Father Ki Jai.
Jai Swami Maharaj ki
Jai.
His co-founder Acharya Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki
Jai.
Jai. Jai Gaur
Jai.
Nande.
Narayani Devi, it was nice to see you. Haribol, I love when the devotees turn on the camera.
Yeah.
Narayani Haribol. Thank you. Haribol.
Oh.
Haribo.